Hey, hey, hey! Welcome to another episode of Refuse to Lose TV. I'm Adele Harris. Thank you so much for joining me. I want to have a very important conversation with you about pain. Yes, pain. The thing that we ignore in our life, the thing that, you know what, most of the time nobody has really taught us how to deal with pain, process pain. What do we do with that energy, that emotion that comes behind? What happens when we experience the pain of rejection, the pain of abuse, the pain of guilt and shame, whatever you're going through, grief, you've lost a loved one, whatever it is, nobody's really taught us what to do with that, right? And so I want to have a conversation with you, and I want to encourage you. I want to challenge you. I hope you get something from this message, but I want to challenge you to do two things with your pain. Two things with your pain. Okay? I'm not going to tell you what not to do. I'm going to tell you what I want you to try to do with your pain. I want you to, one, acknowledge it. Acknowledge that, grandma died and I'm really hurt by that. And I loved her so much. Acknowledge that I was abused. Acknowledge that I was rejected. I love my boyfriend and he cheated on me. Acknowledge it, okay? Acknowledge it. And then the second thing I want you to do is to accept it. To accept it as your own experience. And by accepting and acknowledging it, what you're doing is including it in your journey, which is going to give you permission to make it your own and use it as fuel to move forward. So, I came to this conclusion. This is a huge foundation for Refuse to Lose. It is really an idea and a mindset that I had to adopt because of my personal experiences. I was adopted at birth, and I'd spent the first 3 months of my life in an orphanage. And the older and older you get, when you start to process what that means, there's an abandonment issue there. I've suffered from pain. I still do. It doesn't go away. I suffered from trying to make sense of why you would abandon your child. Why would you abandon me? At the age of 8, I was sexually abused. That is something that takes away and disrupts how you operate emotionally. I've dealt with death, a substantial amount of death. I watched my adopted mother die. I was there the last 3 years of her life. I watched her go from, someone who weighed 185 pounds, 190 pounds to someone who was 50 pounds. I mean, just totally deteriorated right in front of my eyes. I've had such close interactions with these emotions: grief, abuse, abandonment, even rejection. I've just been so closely connected with this energy. I call it an energy now, this energy. And what I've had to do with the pain, because I've spent time being angry. I've spent time ignoring it, like you probably do as well, because we're sharing the same human experience, right? I spent time acting like it didn't happen. I spent time maybe being ashamed that it happened. I spent time being angry, a lot of time being angry or mad at people. And these are things I'm still trying to work on today. So again, we're having a conversation. But what I want to challenge you to do is what I had to do, and I feel so much better. I have so much more joy. And so I had to share this in regards to pain and your pain that you may be experiencing. I want you to do two things with your pain. I want you to accept it as a true part of your journey, right? I want you to accept it as a true part of your journey. I love who I am. I think I'm a beautiful person. I think there's so many great qualities and things about the person that is standing here right now talking to you. If in fact that's true and I believe that, then I have to accept the full journey. Then I have to take the full overall cumulative good, bad, ugly, mistakes, highs, lows, twists, turns, thunderstorms, sunny days. I got to take all of that. I cannot be selective and just take, this portion of my life and say that, you know what, that made me the person I am. And no, it's all made me this person standing right here today. So I had to accept that, and not only accept it, embrace it. And then the next thing to completely loving myself is to not only accept, embrace, but love it. Love it. I'm growing to the point where I love everything about my experiences. I love everything about those things that cause me pain, that have been disruptive. I love everything about the things that have gone great. Right? So acceptance is very, very important. You can't accept it if you don't acknowledge it. So, I spent a lot of time, I'll give you a short story. I had a friend that passed away when I was in high school. And obviously when you're in high school, you're very young. It was one of my peers. And what I told myself was that, you know what, I'll just act like I was a senior in high school. I'll just tell myself that, you know what, he went to college and I went to college and we just never see each other again. You can trick yourself a million ways to not acknowledge that something has occurred, that an event has occurred, that there's a belief there that occurs. You can try to sweep it under the rug as much as you want, but let me tell you, at some point, you're going to just keep hitting a wall of growth. You're going to keep hitting a wall of forward movement in your relationships, particularly if you're old enough, you have kids. Yeah, I've coached for 14 years, so I've always been in relationships with young people, or lots of people, really. A large number of interactions and sharing of emotion and back and forth and loving and being vulnerable. And so if you have a partner, your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, it's going to be disruptive. It's coming back to be disruptive because it lives within you and it's who you are. You can't ignore it. You can't ignore it, consciously ignore it, and then subconsciously you drink all the time to mask pain. You take drugs, or you do more than your fair share of drugs to mask a pain, or you hide yourself in some other sort of toxic behavior. Sex is a toxic behavior that people abuse in order to mask pain. You'll do that subconsciously. You won't even know. You don't even know why you're doing it. And so that's why it's really important to accept it. Accept it, accept the deaths, accept the abuse, accept the rejection, accept the abandonment, accept your shame, your guilt. If you've made mistakes, sometimes when you make mistakes, that pain you give yourself. You like impose it on yourself. And we sometimes don't even allow ourselves to come from under that pain. We don't even give ourselves permission to say, okay, you made a mistake. That was a mistake. Move on. We keep punishing ourselves. So whatever our pain is, it must be accepted as part of our journey. It's just a piece of the puzzle. It's not the whole puzzle. Even if it hurts so bad, because life doesn't recognize the emotion, even if it felt so good and your joy was, off the charts, that's only a short-term thing, right? It's a day, it's a moment, and then it moves on to something else. It's the same thing. You gotta be willing to let go of things. I think first thing you have to do is accept it, acknowledge it, and accept it as part of your journey and the thing that makes you great. And then the most incredible thing I want you to do is to use it as power. To use it as power. You turn your pain into purpose. You turn it into purpose. And that is what Refuse to Lose is. It is part of my purpose through my pain to try to inspire people to make adversity their advantage. It is truly a gift. You can't just acknowledge your highs. You can't. You can't just acknowledge when things go great, or that person who treated you so well, or that great experience, or that great event, or the good days. You can't. It doesn't make sense. Let's acknowledge it all. And let's learn from it all, because it all can teach us how to live present and be in the current moment. And as long as you are denying situations because you're not accepting the truths of your life, you're going to keep hitting a wall. You're going to keep running. Your life should be flowing like a river. It should be in smooth alignment and flow. And you're going to keep banging against the same wall. You're like, why do I keep having these issues? Why is this still bothering me? Why do I get to this point of discomfort when I come here, or whatever it is? You may know what I'm talking about. I'm sure you do. I want you to acknowledge your pain. I want you to accept your pain. And then I want you to use it as power. I want it to be your power. I want that energy. I want that thing that you feel that sometimes balls up and it becomes anger. I want that energy to become something positive that leads you and helps you change the world, change your world, maximize your potential, transform the lives of everyone around you, transform your life. I believe that's why we experience things. I really do. I don't think I went through anything in my life not to open my mouth and share it with someone else to give me peace, but to also help somebody else watching. So pain is our power. It's power. It's power, but it must be acknowledged. It must be accepted. Refuse to Lose TV. I'm Adele Harris. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you. Continue to support it. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Until next time.